raise your right hand. You solemnly swear affirm the testimony about to give in the matters pending before this court and this jury will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, ma'am?
I do.
Okay, you can put your hand down.
Well, Adam's
And if
doing
you'll
the
just have a
questioning.
seat, and then make sure you pull the chair up a little bit, because you're very light spoken, so everybody can hear you, okay?
Okay.
Now, good morning.
Good morning.
Can you tell the jurors, Ms. Good, where are you from?
Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay, are you born and raised?
Yes.
Okay, and what do you do for work?
I'm a clerk.
Okay, and do you live, does the majority of your family also live in the greater Atlanta area?
Yes.
Okay. Now, can you tell the jurors how you know, or if you know, a gentleman named Quindarrius Zachary?
I dated Quindarrius Zachary.
Okay, and could you tell the jurors how long did you date Mr. Zachary?
I don't remember.
Okay, do you remember when you and Mr. Zachary met?
Kinda, yeah.
Okay, can you tell me when you guys met?
I don't know the date, but I remember it was after a club.
Okay, and do you and Mr. Zachary have any children together?
No.
Okay. And were you dating Mr. Zachary, let's say back in 2015?
I don't remember.
Okay. Now, let's see if we can try to jog your memory a little bit. So, when you and Mr. Zachary were dating, did you ever share a home together?
I believe so.
Okay. And
Could be a complicated
did you
question.
call him Quindarrius, or did you have a nickname that you generally called him?
D.
D? Okay. And can you tell the jurors, through your relationship, did you, can you tell them where Mr. Zachary was from? What part of Atlanta?
Capital Homes.
Okay. And where is Capitol Homes?
I'm not sure. I don't remember.
Okay. And back in 2015, did Mr. Zachary live off of Cleveland Avenue with his mom?
I believe so.
Okay. And can you tell the jurors, did you have an opportunity to go to his house where he lived with his mom off of Cleveland Avenue on multiple occasions?
Yes.
Okay. And just to orient the jurors, where on Cleveland Avenue, if you can describe, did they live?
I believe behind the Checkers.
The Checkers? Okay. Now, during your time that you spent in a relationship with Mr. Zachary, can you tell the jurors, did you have an opportunity to kind of meet some of his friends or associates?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Did you have an opportunity to meet a gentleman named Antonio Sledge?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And what about someone named Shannon Stillwell?
Yes.
Okay. And what about someone named Jeffrey Williams?
No.
Okay. Do you know, was that somebody that Mr. Zachary would spend time with, someone named Jeffrey Williams?
That's what he told me.
Okay. And what about, had you ever had an
no
opportunity to meet
objection?
someone named Demikian Garlington?
Yes.
Okay. And were they, any of the people we just mentioned that you had met, did you, I guess, hang out with them often, go to restaurants or clubs, or hang out at people's houses with them?
Yes.
Okay. Now, in the time that you were dating and in a relationship with Mr. Zachary, can you tell the jurors, did you ever see him with firearms that he owned?
Yes, I was with him when he purchased one.
Okay. And can you tell the jurors, when you were with him, where did he purchase a firearm?
I don't recall.
Okay. Do you remember when you were with him, what kind of firearm or what the firearm looked like when you were there when he purchased it?
No.
Okay. Now, can you tell the jurors, were there times, or were you with Mr. Zachary, and were you aware in 2015, in May, that Mr. Zachary was arrested?
Can you be specific?
In around May 7th, were you aware with Mr. Zachary when he was arrested?
I believe so.
Okay. And do you remember a time that when Mr. Zachary was in custody, he would call you, I guess, through the jail phone?
Yes.
Okay. And do you remember that after one of the phone calls that you had with Mr. Zachary in September of 2015, you reached out to ATF agents?
Yes.
Okay. And do you remember, can you tell the jurors why you reached out to ATF agents or law enforcement?
Because Quindarrius wanted me to see why was he arrested.
Okay. And after that phone call on September 16th of 2015, did you go and meet with some agents and detectives at the City of Atlanta Police Department a couple days later?
I did.
Okay. And on September 18th of 2015, do you remember who you met with?
I don't.
Okay. Can you tell the jurors or describe for them, was it a man, a woman, was it both?
I don't remember.
Okay. Do you remember multiple people being in the room when you were speaking with law enforcement on September 18th?
I believe so.
Okay. Now, when you arrived, I guess, to speak with the law enforcement agents, can you tell the jurors, did you talk with them about some of the guns that you knew that Mr. Zachary owned?
I believe so.
Okay. And can you tell the jurors, did you talk with them about some specific guns that he shared or gave to some friends that we've mentioned here today?
I remember hearing it, but I don't remember it actually happening.
Okay. So when you say you remember hearing it, prior to today, you had an opportunity to listen to a recording of your interview with ATF agents and members of the Atlanta Police Department.
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. And when you listened to that recording, did you recognize your voice?
I did.
Okay. And it's something that you listened to from start to beginning?
Yes.
Okay. And was there anything about that recording when you were speaking that made you think it wasn't your voice?
No.
Okay. And do you actually, you remember, or do you remember actually going to meet with them back in 2015? Maybe not the context or content of what was said, but you actually remember going to that meeting?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, and during that meeting, do you remember talking with and telling the detectives that Mr. Zachary had given a firearm to Antonio Sledge?
Yes.
Okay, and do you remember talking to and describing the firearm that he had given to Antonio Sledge?
Not really, but okay.
In listening to the recording, do you remember telling the detectives that he gave Antonio Sledge a small black handgun, the one that you were with him when he purchased it?
I do.
Okay, and
Yes. Ooh. Ooh, we're approaching. We are approaching. I've been wondering, we didn't really get
the witness to
Oh, I wish we could know if the witness was leaving. 'Cause I thought it was weird they let Gaither sit like right next to the sidebars. But yeah, I was wondering, I'm like, all right, they're not objecting to certain things. There was like a clear hearsay thing about he told me he hung out with Doug and she didn't have firsthand knowledge, apparently. Some of this stuff seems like hearsay, and now there's this extra layer of she does this interview not just with police but with the feds, so firearm issues, and clearly Adam Abatey, his line of questioning is focused on the firearms, right? And now we hear multiple voices from the defense side objecting, asking to approach, and Whitaker's like, so here we go. And even though it's not Love doing the questioning in this particular moment, it's very interesting that the day she's back, we're less than an hour in, and there's been like mysterious letters that we never saw in Discovery. We don't remember getting in Discovery. They don't have witnesses ready, and now they're approaching. But I still think, okay, so she's still on the stand. They're just not. I think it's weird that they let the witness sit there. I mean, I don't know if they have like a white noise thing that makes it harder for the witness to hear, but I can't imagine that they whisper very quietly at the bench. So, but yeah. I forgot about Quindarrius Zachary trying to flirt with the investigator from the state. Oh man. Angie says, I'm excited, Love is back. Oh wait, and Eternity says Summer was suspended during QZ's questioning. Suspended how? Sometimes I forget things. Things go over my head sometimes. And also, big thank you to Danielle Judge, member for 2 months, and also with the kind reminder, don't forget to hit that like button. Help grow the gang. I don't know. I mean, I like that you guys are like being nice to the witness. I think it kind of sucks to be pulled into something for stuff that happened 5 years ago. Oh, it's Jesse. So we're gonna skip Jesse. All right, we're like caught up, so. Shout out to Jesse Weber. He's trying to join the gang, popping up. All right, we're just gonna refresh it.
A few, by the way. There are so many.
Oh my gosh, Jesse. Yeah, I think it sucks. Like, imagine being called as a witness. Like, especially with like the way I feel about this case being kind of like weird how they're prosecuting it, a little off base. Imagine being called like 7, 8, 9 years later to testify to stuff that you don't remember or don't think happened at all, but they keep asking you questions about what they think happened. All right, so let's see. Are we done with Jesse? We are back to the seal. Right, Jesse's out here raking in the cash. And yeah, I wouldn't want to testify about an ex or like obviously a person that I know. Especially like someone that might have an issue of legal exposure in some way. Because remember, like use immunity, we're not supposed to use your testimony against you, but he doesn't have immunity from something that Summer says on the stand. Like, oh my gosh. Yeah, that's kind of like, I think that's a good way to put it. Lois says she's a lay witness and is definitely forced to be there. She definitely deserves grace. And it sucks. I mean, obviously, getting witness testimony is important, but in a case like this, I'm like, all right, well, is every witness really necessary? Is it worth it to put people through this? And hold on, do we have Military Mind in the chat? I see you guys saying hi. Yes, okay, welcome back, my Military Mind. Hey, cat mods and chat with the capital C. Finally got power and internet back after 6 days. Oh, so happy for you. It's not fun. It's like one day is fine, and then it's like, this is rough. So I'm so glad you have your power and your internet back. We missed you too. I'm so happy the chat is like, I see everybody saying my military mind in the chat. That's actually how I knew that you said something. So thank you, chat, for the warm welcome back. Very, very happy to see you, my military mind. You've missed, if you just got here, you missed a couple shenanigans. It's been a little bit of a day already. I also love Chloe Albert's revenge here. Chloe says, I warned you guys if you say her name 3 times. And there we go, we have love coming back. And also, you know, there was that wildfire rumor yesterday, and I think part of it was hope. People had, like, high hopes that love would be gone from the rest of this case, but that was a rumor. And again, I'd say probably actually misinformation. So, always got to be careful and got to qualify that we don't know for sure.
Okay, so I want to talk to you, pivot just for a second. We talked a little bit earlier about some of the people that you described that you had met that were friends or associates of Mr. Zachary. Remember that?
Yes.
And you and Mr. Zachary, you dated for multiple, or did you date for multiple years?
I believe so.
Okay. And in the times that you and Mr. Zachary dated, can you describe for the jurors, did he, based on your personal knowledge, hang out with Mr. Williams,
won that
Jeffrey
sidebar.
Williams, on a number of occasions?
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled.
It was hearsay earlier.
You want me to answer that?
Yes.
I've never actually seen him hang out with him.
Let me ask you this question. You're familiar with social media, Instagram,
Objection
Facebook?
to the leading question.
Are you familiar with,
Overruled. Well, yeah.
are you familiar with social media like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, things like that?
Yes.
And do you have those things?
Yes.
And did Mr. Zachary back then also have Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all of those good things?
I believe so.
And in the number of years that you were in a relationship with Mr. Zachary, did you see photographs of Mr. Zachary and Mr. Williams together?
Yes, but I didn't think he knew him then.
Okay, well, when you saw, your testimony is you saw photographs where they were hanging out, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and
Yeah, no, I'm going to object. That's a mischaracterization of the witness's answer.
I'll rephrase. Were they hanging out in the photographs?
I don't know if they was hanging out. I'm not sure. I wasn't there, but it was a picture of them together.
Okay, and did you see pictures of the two of them together on multiple occasions?
I believe so.
Okay. And in the times that you were in a relationship with Mr. Zachary, did he travel with Mr. Williams?
Objection, hearsay.
I don't remember.
Rephrase.
Were there times when Mr. Zachary was traveling and you and Mr. Zachary be on a FaceTime call and you would see...
Objection to that leading question.
Did you FaceTime Mr. Zachary when he was traveling?
I don't remember.
Okay. Do you remember
Move on.
telling the agents that there were times that you would FaceTime Mr. Zachary when he was traveling?
I believe so, but I don't remember actually FaceTiming him while he was traveling.
Okay. But do you remember in the recording that you listened to, you described FaceTiming with Mr. Zachary at times?
I believe so.
And in one of the occasions that you described, or do you remember one of the occasions that you described FaceTiming with Mr. Zachary that he was traveling with Mr. Williams?
I don't remember.
Okay. And do you remember, would you dispute that you said that during the recording that you listened to?
Can you repeat that question?
Would you, in the recording that you listened to, if that's in there, would you dispute that? Would you say that isn't true?
Are you asking would I say that it's true that he was traveling with Mr. Williams?
Yes.
I don't know.
Okay, and do you remember during that interview, you also talked about times that you dropped Mr. Zachary off at the studio and Mr. Williams was there?
Objection calls for hearsay. It's leading and speculation.
Okay,
Sustained to leading.
so let me break that down. Were there times during your relationship with Mr. Zachary that you dropped him off at different studios?
I don't remember.
Okay, do you remember telling the detectives that was something that you would do?
I believe so.
And do you remember telling the detectives on at least one occasion when you dropped Mr. Zachary off at the studio, Mr. Williams, you saw Mr. Williams?
I don't remember.
Okay, you don't remember telling the detectives that?
I remember listening to it and seeing it, but I don't remember seeing him.
So you heard yourself say that?
I did hear myself say that.
He's already refreshed
during
your
that
memory
interview
with the tape.
The ATF agents and the Atlanta Police Department. God bless you. Scared me. Now, you talked about other firearms that Mr. Zachary had given to
I'm going to
other
object to the
friends.
leading question.
Overruled.
You can answer the question.
Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
Yes. Do you remember talking and telling the agents and the detectives in September of 2015 about other firearms that Mr. Zachary had given to other friends?
I do, but I don't remember any other firearms.
Okay. And when you say I do you remember hearing yourself say that when you listened to the recording?
I do.
And do you remember hearing yourself say during that interview and on the recording that he gave?
Your Honor, I'm going to object. It's based on hearsay.
I might have to look at the recording, the
Okay.
interview.
State would say that it's accepted to hearsay because it's impeachment due to a prior inconsistent statement
Of,
of Mr. Zachary.
Same objection. There's no predicate for impeachment by an inconsistent statement.
yeah, that's our issue that we discussed up here.
Get it together, Abate. Oh, wait. That's sustained.
Can we approach?
Sure.
Buffer, please help me. Please help me. Oh, they really want this in. And they've already refreshed her memory. If you catch about the way he's asking his questions, he prepped this witness. He actually seems like he preps his witnesses. And she said, I heard myself say that. So it seems like he played this exhibit for her before she took the stand. So he really wants to play this to impeach Quindarrius Zachary. Yeah, Julie says a long, long, long day. Yeah, watch. After the approach, she's suddenly going to be like, yeah, you know what? Even though we talked about that and you didn't really do the thing you're supposed to do to let it come in. Oh, man. Big shout out to Nem for the kind words here. Shout out to the best chat, Malats, Mod Love all the time, and Queen Cat. Thank you so much, Nem. Jazz M also became a new member. Thanks so much. You look good in green. Indie Love, you guys are like rise and shine today. Everyone like rushed here, so happy, and then everyone's like, oh, Love is back. And I agree with you guys in the chat. I think it's more entertaining. There's more interesting things to watch usually when Love is around. The downside of that is it's way less time productive. So, kind of sucks when people are sitting in custody, the jury's sitting there stuck. But definitely a little bit more interesting. Indie Love with the kind words as well here. Good morning to KNW mods and chat. Hit that like button. And we got a green amphibious emoji mixed in there. Becoming one of my favorite emojis now because of this trial. I don't know, I feel like we should, when there's a bench, we just pull this one up. That Whitaker is long gone though. That was a short-lived Whitaker. Mr. Collins, holy moly. Mr. Collins dropped 10 gifted memberships You guys make sure you shout out Mr. Collins in the chat. Mr. Collins, that's super generous. I had gotten you up in the banner. I was real bad with the banner yesterday. I'm going to do better today. Yeah, the some kind of amphibious creature is like one of my favorite things from this trial. Everything with the green emojis. Quindarrius Zachary saying it looks like a green duck. Oh man, good times all around. Yeah, Kat Johnson says, I've never seen such a cluster of a case and determination to continue it. I mean, I do think it's like human psychology. People don't want to go back to the drawing board once they've started and or invested in something. Is that like a sunken cost fallacy or something? I know there's like a name for the concept. CLK says love makes it a soap opera. Yeah, I agree. Dublin Mug says, I mean, it's not surprising that you don't remember a conversation with the cops like what was said in 2015. I mean, he showed her probably the video, so she's seen it recently, but still. And I agree. And if she went down there after Quindarrius Zachary got arrested and fed a story, that might be harder to remember as well. Because you're just relaying what someone told you rather than actually having a memory of stuff from firsthand knowledge. Kind of got through a lot of that water already.
Telling the detectives during the interview in September of 2015, where you described that Mr. Zachary and Mr. Williams were friends. Do you remember saying that?
I don't remember saying it, but I remember hearing it.
Do you remember hearing yourself say that?
Yes.
Okay. Do you also remember or hearing yourself say and describe that Mr. Zachary and Mr. Williams traveled to places like Miami on multiple occasions?
I
I'm going to
remember.
object again on the grounds of hearsay. She has personal knowledge.
Well, I sustained as to that. I
Do you
assume that's
remember-
what you're asking.
Do you remember telling the detectives and the agents that you had personal knowledge that Mr. Zachary and Mr. Williams traveled to Miami on multiple occasions?
I don't remember.
Do you remember hearing yourself say that?
I do.
Okay.
It all seems like she fed a story that she was fed. She relayed the story. That's how this comes off to me, personally.
Now, I want to bring your attention to January 12th of 2015, okay? Do you remember talking to the detectives and the agents about an incident that happened at the Crystals off of Cleveland Avenue?
I do.
Okay, and can you tell the jurors who is Quindarrius Smith?
My cousin.
Okay, and can you tell the jurors around that time in 2015 in January, was your cousin Miss Smith dating somebody that you knew by the nickname Kel?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know who she was dating at the time.
Okay, and do you know or did you know someone who you referred to as Kel?
I don't.
Do you remember talking to the detectives and officers with the Atlanta Police Department about somebody you knew by the name of Kel?
I do.
Okay, and can you tell the jurors, do you remember going to that Crystals to meet your cousin, Miss Smith, around 1 o'clock that morning on January 12, 2015?
I do.
Okay, and can you tell the jurors, were you driving?
I don't remember.
Okay, were you with anyone?
I believe so.
Okay, Do you know a person with the last name Miss Anderson?
I do.
Okay, and do you remember talking to me yesterday about the fact that she was in the passenger seat of your car that night when you went to the Crystals to meet your cousin?
I do.
Okay, and can you tell the jurors what you remember when you got to the Crystals that you did?
I remember pulling up on the side of my cousin, and me and her was talking and playing, and then we heard a gunshot.
Okay, and can you tell the jurors, you said you heard gunshots. Do you remember talking to the
A gunshot.
Okay, do you remember talking to the detectives and telling them where the gunshot came from?
I do.
Okay, can you tell the jurors?
I believe I told them that the guy in the passenger seat had shot the gun.
Okay, and in the passenger seat of whose car?
My cousin.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
And can you tell the jurors, I guess, who that person
Or
was in the
Shelkel. Who
passenger
was
seat
it?
of your cousin's car, Ms. Smith?
I don't know him, so I don't know, but they told me that it was the guy that she was dating.
Well, I don't want you to tell me what anybody else said, but let me ask you
Third
this
one?
question. Do you remember telling officers that responded that night, as well as agents and other detectives on September 18th of 2015, that the person in the passenger seat of your cousin's car was someone that you knew by the nickname Kel?
I do.
And do you remember hearing?
Hold on. This is a little wild because she's already discussed Shelkel and how Travia was dating him. But back then, she originally tells cops that it was Shelkel in the passenger seat. But now she just said she didn't really know him or who he was.
Yourself on that recording and from that night on January 12th, describing to them how you had just requested him on Instagram.
I do.
And do you remember providing them with the Instagram handle for Mr. Kell?
I do.
Okay, and do you remember
And the Instagram name?
Do you remember what Instagram handle you told the officers and the detectives what Mr. Kell's handle or ID was?
I think I believe. I don't know.
Okay. You said you think you believe so?
I don't really remember.
Okay.
I think she's the
can you
problem.
describe for the jurors or tell the jurors the handle that you remember giving to the Atlanta Police Department that night.
I think it was like BMG something. I don't remember.
Okay. Do you remember it being BGC MB _ Shell Kel?
Probably so.
Okay. And can you tell the jurors what kind of car was your cousin driving that night? Do you remember?
I don't.
Do you remember telling the officers that responded that your cousin was in a red Pontiac Grand Prix?
I don't.
Okay. And can you tell the jurors after the officers arrived, after the shooting incident, well, first, were you injured?
I was not.
Okay. And can you tell the jurors after you spoke with the officers where you went? Do you remember?
I don't remember where I went.
Okay. Do you remember telling them and talking to me yesterday about the fact that you went to Mr. Zachary's home off of Cleveland Avenue that we talked about today, where he lived with his mom?
I believe so, but I don't remember where I went.
Okay. And do you remember telling the officers and talking to me yesterday that when you got to Mr. Zachary's apartment that early morning, that Mr. Zachary wasn't there?
I believe so.
Okay. And do you remember what you told the detectives and what you told me yesterday as to where he was on January 12th of 2015?
I believe I said Miami.
Okay. And do you remember telling the detectives that you knew he was in Miami because that's when you had FaceTimed him earlier that day, and he was in Miami?
Probably so.
Okay. Now, can you tell the jurors how you know someone named Miss Alexis Bryant?
That's Quindarrius' cousin.
Okay. And back in 2015, was that somebody that you would consider a friend or you'd hang out with?
I guess, like, yeah.
Okay. Was she somebody that you had hung out with or been with on more than one occasion?
Yes.
Okay. And had you been to her home in the Eagles Nest apartment complex before?
Yes.
And about how many times do you think you had been to her apartment?
I don't remember.
More than one?
Probably so.
Okay. And can you tell the jurors, have you ever been to a club here in Atlanta called Club Crucial?
I have.
Okay. And is that somewhere you had been more than once before April 28th, 2015?
Probably so.
Okay. Well, was that a spot that you and Mr. Zachary and his friends, whoever it may be, would hang out on, I guess, a monthly basis or more than once a month?
I guess you could say that.
Okay. Now, do you remember talking to the detectives back in September of 2015 about a fight that you saw at Club Crucial on April 28th of 2015?
I do, but I don't remember a fight. I remember hearing it, but I don't remember a fight.
Okay. And when you were listening to that recording, do you remember telling the detectives that the fight?
Objection to the leading question.
Do you remember telling the detectives that Mr. Garlington was jumped that night?
I remember hearing myself say that.
Okay. And you remember hearing yourself say that you actually witnessed the fight?
I remember hearing myself say that.
Okay. And do you remember during that recording, who you told the detectives kind of jumped in to help Mr. Garlington when he was being beat up?
I remember hearing myself say Antonio Sledge.
Okay. Do you remember also telling the detectives that person you knew as Tay jumped in to help as well?
I don't remember telling. I remember hearing myself say it. So I remember hearing myself say that.
Okay. And can you tell the jurors, how do you know Tay?
I don't remember how I know him.
Okay. Do you remember telling the detectives that you knew Tay through Miss Bryant?
Probably so.
And telling the detectives that Tay was Miss Bryant's boyfriend?
Probably so.
And can you tell the jurors what you remember saying or what you remember hearing yourself say in that recording after the fight was broken up, what you did?
I don't remember what I said.
Do you remember telling the detectives that at that point you were leaving the club? Remember that?
Probably so.
And can you tell the jurors what you remember telling the detectives happened as you were leaving Club Crucial?
Your Honor, I'm going to object to this line of questioning. I believe it's appropriate to ask what happened before we ask what she said.
Do you remember what happened when you walked out of Club Crucial that early morning on April 28th of 2015?
I do not.
is. It's not me. I'm not wearing one. Do you remember, so you said you don't remember what happened when you walked out to the parking lot of Club Crucial?
I don't.
Do you remember hearing yourself on that recording describe to the detectives and the agents what happened?
Kinda, yes.
Okay, what do you remember hearing yourself say?
I believe I said I went to Alexis Bryant's house.
Okay, and what did you tell the detectives happened before you went to Miss Bryant's house?
I don't remember.
Because you don't remember telling the detectives and then talking to me yesterday and telling me that when you were in the parking lot, a shooting happened at Club Crucial.
No, I don't remember telling you that either yesterday.
Okay, and now you said after you left Club Crucial, how did you get to Miss Bryant's house?
I don't remember.
Okay, and when you say you went to Miss Bryant's house, is this the same apartment that we talked about a little earlier that you had been to on multiple occasions?
Yes.
Okay, and can you tell the jurors who was at Miss Miss Bryant's house when you went there that early morning on April 28th?
I don't remember.
Do you remember Alexis being there?
Not really, but I'm pretty sure she was there.
Okay, well, do you think that you went to Miss Bryant's house by yourself?
No.
Okay. Did you have a key to Miss Bryant's house?
No.
So in order to get in, would Miss Bryant or somebody she lived with have to let you in?
Yes.
Okay, and you got into her apartment that morning, right?
Yes.
Okay, and do you remember how long you were at Miss Bryant's home?
I don't.
Let me ask you this question. You said you don't remember, but how do you know that you were there?
Because I remember I was there.
Okay, so you remember that part?
Yes.
Okay. Now, can you tell the jurors while you were there what happened that early morning at the apartment?
I was asleep. I was drunk, sleep, and I woke up to a call from Quindarrius, and he told me,
Don't tell me what Mr. Zachary told you. Just tell me what you remember hearing or what happened at the apartment that you physically observed or heard.
I heard gunshots.
Okay. And do you remember how many gunshots you heard?
No.
All right. And is that what woke you up, the gunshots?
The second time, yes.
Okay. And after you heard the gunshots, can you tell the jurors kind of what happened or what was going on inside of Miss Bryant's apartment? You remember?
What you mean?
Well, did you get up? Did you leave? Did you go back to sleep? What did you do after you heard gunshots?
I don't remember what I did. I just remember waking up the next morning at my mom's house.
Okay. And, well, let me ask you this question. When you heard gunshots, do you believe, do you remember if it was more than one, two, was it multiple?
It was multiple.
Okay. And did hearing the gunshots, or the gunshots that woke you up the second time, did that surprise you? Like, were you expecting to hear gunshots that night?
No, but it didn't surprise me either.
Okay. Why not?
It just didn't.
You said it just didn't. Can you explain to the jurors why it just didn't surprise you?
Objection as to relevance.
Because
Overruled.
I wasn't scared, so it didn't surprise me.
Did any of the gunshots that you heard, did they come into Miss Bryant's apartment?
I don't remember.
Okay. Did you talk to any police after you heard the gunshots that early morning?
I don't remember, honestly.
Now, let's talk a little bit about something that you listened to in the recording with the agents in September of 2015. can you tell the jurors, do you remember talking to them about Donovan Thomas or Nuts murder?
I believe I heard myself say something about it.
Okay. And do you remember talking to the detectives about where Mr. Zachary was when Mr.
I'm going to object to the hearsay, that it calls for hearsay.
It doesn't. The answer does not.
Okay. I'll listen to the rest of the question and then make a determination.
Do you remember talking to the detectives about how you knew where Mr. Zachary was when Mr. Thomas was killed?
Okay, overruled.
I believe so.
Okay. And do you remember telling the detectives that he was actually...
Objection to the leading question and that it calls for hearsay.
Do you remember what you told the detectives as to why you had personal knowledge of where Mr. Zachary was?
I do.
Okay. Can you tell the jurors?
I was with him.
Okay. And when you say you were with him, were you at his house, your house? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
Okay. And do you remember talking to the detectives about how you had personal knowledge of where Antonio Sledge was during that time?
I do.
And can you tell the jurors a little bit about that, how you knew where he was?
I believe I told them that they were on FaceTime together.
We can't hear the whispers. Steven Satchel, I got your email. Thank you. We're going to take a look at some of this breakdown of the Munktung plea, how the indictment was written, and interesting inconsistencies on one of our breaks. So I'm excited for that. Mahadi De Jesus is out here sniping somebody, making him green. Thank you so much. Maricela says, good morning to everybody. Green heart, green heart. I think it's been a good morning. I think it's been...
Questions for this witness by any of the defense attorneys?
Oh, okay. Passing the witness.
1 second, please, Judge.
Sure.
All right, so